Hi, I'm Jean-Paul Coussan. I'm running for State Representative, District 45 here in Lafayette. I'm running to harness the energy that we have here in Lafayette and to bring that energy to Baton Rouge on behalf of our city. It's a rare opportunity to serve at a higher level. It's an opportunity that doesn't come up very often. This is an open seat, District 45. Joel Robideau's held it for 12 years. He's term limited now. So it gave me a great opportunity to stand up and serve in a more profound way. Basically, the way that I'm approaching it is, I want to serve in order to support small business, to create jobs, to help our energy sector, to help our education system, both on the K through 12 level and on the higher education level, and also to help our creative and innovative culture that really makes us special. These things are cornerstones of our community. They're going to assist with workforce development, job creation, and attracting more people and businesses into town. I look forward to doing that on behalf of our constituents, on behalf of our businesses, and on behalf of the whole community. I think I reflect the values of our community. I'm personally a product of this community. I grew up off of Ambassador Caffrey. We lived there in the very early 80s when Ambassador was expanded from a 2-lane highway, I think it was called Flanders Road, to a 4-lane highway. And I went to Prairie Elementary, and I've seen the city grow in a way that most people wouldn't even have expected 30 years ago. It's growing and changing every day. I'm part of that growth. As a title attorney, it's so special for me to sit down with young couples who are investing in the future of Lafayette. They're basically putting their money towards the biggest investment that they're ever going to make, and I'm part of that process. I want to be part of that process on the legislative side as well. We can put public policy in place that's going to attract growth, that's going to attract more young people, it's going to attract more jobs, and it's going to attract people even more so if we have an education system in place that can sustain that growth. I think one of the most fun things about campaigning is knocking door to door. You never know what you're going to get when you knock on a door. And the people have all sorts of issues, all sorts of questions, but the main things that I hear about are the status of our economy and the status of our education system. They want to know what I'm going to do to help create jobs and to make sure that we have the proper education system in place for our children. And it's not just for my children, it's for my grandchildren. I have a very long-term perspective on all of the public policy decisions that we're making today, because I know that what we decide today is going to impact people 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. So one of the unique things that I bring to this race is a very long-term perspective. And I'm working to make the right decisions right now so that we don't look back and wish we'd have done something differently years from now. The problem with the budget now is that we can't cut what we need to cut in order to fund what we need to fund. We have too many legislatively and constitutionally protected funding sources that don't allow us to do the things we need to do and to prioritize our budget in the manner that it needs to be prioritized. There's plenty of special interests out there, and I'm going to fight those special interests to make sure that we can fund the things that are going to help our community grow here in Lafayette and provide the infrastructure that our businesses and that our community needs so we can get where we need to go in an efficient way. As many people know, we've got issues with traffic here in town. We've got issues with infrastructure really across the state. So what are the decisions that we're making now that are going to help put the priority of funding in place to help us here in Lafayette? We've got a great community. We really are the diamond of the state, and I think it's a great opportunity for me now to step up and lead on infrastructure and education. All 4 of my grandparents were educators. 2 of my grandmothers taught in elementary school. One of them retired here in Lafayette Parish. One of them taught in New Orleans. Both of my grandfathers were also teachers. My grandfather in New Orleans taught at Delgado. He taught draftsmanship after retiring from Shell. My other grandfather here in Lafayette was the Dean of the College of Education at UL. All my grandparents taught me that a quality education could bring endless opportunities in life. I had an opportunity for a very good education, and I want the future of our parish to be able to provide great educational opportunities for our children. I think as a legislator, I'll be able to promote policies that are going to help our education system from the K through 12 level all the way up through the higher education level. And that includes some of our community college system, which I also think should be strengthened. On the higher education side, I think we need to provide more autonomy to our universities. That doesn't just include tuition autonomy, that also includes operational autonomy. We're spending too much money at the higher education system to get through some of the bureaucratic red tape that it takes for our administrations at the higher ed level, basically to do things like do internal auditing, to purchase equipment, to purchase airline travel. All of those things are costing more money than they need to. For every $1 that a university gets, it costs about 50 cents just to get that dollar spent on what it was initially supposed to be spent on in the first place. I think we need to change that system environment. On the K through 12 system, I want to make sure that the MFP formula addresses some of the consistent issues that we have relative to funding local education. I'm going to work closely with our local school board members to find out the needs of our education system. And when I get to Baton Rouge, I'm someone that's going to be able to discuss all of these issues and listen to people and make sure that we're making the right decisions, not just for now, not just for next year, but for 5 and 10 years down the road, so that funding is not consistently the issue that people talk about on a year in and year out basis. Okay. I am against federal intervention into our local school curriculum. I am against data mining, and I don't think our kids should be tested for 6, 7, and 8 weeks out of the year. I'd love for our teachers to be able to teach and our kids can learn at the level that they need to learn. I agree that we need rigorous, high standards for our children, and I believe that we have the people here in our state from the higher education and the K through 12 community that can come up with a local curriculum that will address some of the concerns that Common Core presented when it came out of a national group. I prefer local control of our education system.
You support the Second Amendment?
I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I am a life member of the NRA. I'm a concealed carry permit holder. I'm a member of Ducks Unlimited. One thing I love to do more than anything is to hunt with my son. Our opening weekend is a tradition that we've had since I allowed him to start coming with me, and before that it was with me and my father-in-law for the last 10 years. So I take advantage of all of the countless opportunities that Louisiana has as the Louisiana sportsman's paradise. So on a policy level, I'm going to promote and encourage Second Amendment issues at the state legislature. One of the things I want to do is continue to strengthen firearm safety at a lower level to make sure that kids understand all the risks involved with firearms and that we understand that without safety we can't even get into the remainder of how they can be used for fun, recreation, and as part of our culture. In Baton Rouge, I'm going to fight for pro-life issues and I'm going to protect the unborn. I look forward to working with the leaders in that community, seeing how we can continue to promote pro-life issues here in Louisiana. Fortunately, I think we have an overwhelming majority of people who support those initiatives in Baton Rouge, and I'll be part of that solution as well. Transportation funding is consistently one of the issues that I hear about when I'm walking door to door, and then also when I go to businesses. Our businesses here in this community cannot grow without a proper infrastructure in place for logistics purposes primarily. So when we start talking about I-49, Highway 90, Johnston Street, Ambassador Caffrey, all of these are in the state government matrix of priority funding. I'm going to be somebody that fights to make sure that we've got the proper funding for infrastructure and that the funds that are in place to protect infrastructure funding don't continually get raided as they have been for years and years and years. We need to make sure that for whatever reason that these funds are being raided, that those other priorities are funded from a different set of revenue, and that the infrastructure priority is set aside, protected, and actually utilize for the purpose that it was put there in the first place. So I'll be a strong advocate for infrastructure. Part of my job as a real estate lawyer is to look at infrastructure before it's ever put in place. And it's something that's really enjoyable to me. And you know, it's interesting to see the plans for the future. And I look at this job as a legislator much in the same way as I do as a real estate attorney. We are planning for the future. What will the property be used as in support of our community, of our businesses, and our children? And infrastructure and roads are two of the highest priorities that I have.
Okay.
I think I'm a good reflection of the values of our community. I've got a long-term perspective. I'm a hard worker. I've got 3 young children, beautiful wife. I've got a family that is vested in this community. I personally invested in this community, and I'd like to invest my time as a state legislator to help our community grow and blossom into what we can be in the future. We are the diamond of the state of Louisiana, and I truly believe that. But I think we need leadership. I'm really enjoying the campaign and meeting so many good people. If we haven't met yet, I hope we do real soon. In the meantime, please visit my website at www.coussan.com. And remember to vote on October 24th. Thank you.